Hi Scorpio, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings, Tarot from the Heart. So today is your love reading from July 2016 to December 2016, and I know that I did the love readings from February running through to the end of July, the first set of love readings, and if I'd have thought about it I'd have started them in January through to June, but it doesn't matter if the energies overlap a little bit because it's a general reading, and you know, some things will happen for some people, some things won't. Some things will happen in July, some things will start in August. It just depends. It is a general reading, so please take note of that, Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Rising signs, that if this affects you, some of it, great, especially if it's good. If it doesn't, no problem. The only way that you're truly going to know what's happening is by getting a personal reading. If you like a personal reading with me, guys, all the details are down below. Okay, so how I do the love readings, I do an 18 card spread. It's one that I've devised myself. I start off by, the cards are already pre-laid because I actually started recording this last week when I laid the cards, but something screwed up, so I left it. I went away for the weekend and then I came back and I thought I'll start recording this today, and then with this, because it's ever such a good spread, it's really, really good. So I start laying down 9 cards first of all, and then I'll lay clarifiers for each of the 9 cards. Okay, so we end up with an 18 card spread. Now what I've decided to do, because I can see 3 separate stories running in, you know that I'm a storyteller, okay, so I'm not only an intuitive tarot reader, Scorpio, I'm also a storyteller, so I deal with tarot interaction and where the cards are facing in order to see what's going on. And what I've decided to do is 3 stories in one, okay? So one of the stories might affect you. If something doesn't affect you with one of the stories, it might affect you with the other one. But I can see 3 stories running through this, okay? And where I see a link with the cards, I'll pick up on that because my intuition is telling me to do that. So this is for Scorpio. If your Sun, Moon or Rising sign is in Scorpio, this will be for you, okay? So we're going to start off with it's a shame that I can't show you what the actual spread is. I'm still trying to work out a way because I enjoy talking to the camera. That's the thing. I feel that I connect a little bit better rather than just showing you a bunch of cards, which is fine. A lot of readers just show the card, and I suppose that's a really excellent way of doing it, but I actually enjoy talking to the camera. So I'll find a way that I can incorporate the cards. I'm thinking of recording from 2 cameras. One that shows the cards, and maybe inserting the cards, a little box that shows the cards, and you can see me at the same time. I'm going to figure out a way that I can do that to make the reading far more sort of connected with you. But hopefully you can connect anyway. Right, we're going to start off with our first set of 6 cards, and I read from the top down to the bottom what I can see happening. Scorpio, between July and December 2016, what I think is going to happen is you're going to be made a proposal. Now, for those of you who have been in long-standing relationships, who've been waiting for a proposal of marriage, I do see this coming in, and that's because our first 2 cards show up as the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups, and you can see where these cards are facing. You've got a Knight directly facing you. Your Queen of Cups, Scorpios are usually, even though the Queen of Cups usually can be seen as a Cancerian individual, she can also represent Scorpio. So any of the water signs, really, I see this showing up as, I'll say, because it's a general reading. So this is you, Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is facing you. So there's an offer coming in. If you are attached and you have been in a cohabiting relationship, or just a relationship where you've been seeing someone, or you're proper boyfriend and girlfriend, it's been a year, 2 years, whatever it is, long-standing relationship, I do feel there's an offer of marriage coming in, because we've got that Knight of Cups facing the Queen of Cups. Now, the person that does the offering could be a fellow water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but usually Knights represent the actions that are taken. So if you get a Knight, for example, the Knight of Cups, it means a declaration of love. Okay, so it means where somebody's declaring something to you. It means where somebody's offering something to you. It means where somebody is giving something to you, because he's offering a cup to the Queen of Cups. Okay, for some of you guys, you might have been on your own for quite a while. If you've been on your own for quite a while, I feel that somebody's going to come in between July and December 2016. Very interesting when those the clarifying card was the Knight of Cups for why the Queen of Cups was sitting on her own, and she's not actually on her own. So if you have been on your own for quite a while, Scorpio, I do feel within the next 6 months there will be an offer of love coming in for you, okay? I feel that if you have recently become engaged, potentially it could be a quick marriage, because I am seeing engagement parties happening. We've got the Nine of Cups and the Five of Cups. Now, what you've got to be careful with the tarot is, you know, Five of Pentacles, sorry. Now, you've got to be careful with the tarot when you're interpreting cards, Scorpio, because even though the Five of Pentacles in its general meaning means loss, especially in terms of a relationship reading, it can mean loss in a relationship, a lack of a relationship, or a lack of connectivity in a relationship, so spiritual, emotional distance within a relationship. This can also be people who are drunk, and I've seen it happen in readings, people who are coming out of a bar, they can hardly stand up, which is why you've got one guy on crutches and one woman who's looking fairly weather-worn. And I would read this as being, because it's a love reading and because I'm seeing an engagement party, a proposal and an engagement party running within the next 6 months, Scorpio, I feel that this will be your engagement, the Nine of Cups, because the Nine of Cups often represents parties. So it's get-togethers, it's where people come together, you're drinking, you're having a good time, and I feel that this will be your guests walking out of that engagement party quite merry and obviously pissed up to the nines. Yeah, I do feel that there's going to be an engagement party, though. There's a proposal I'm seeing here with the Knight of Cups facing the Queen of Cups, engagement party with the Nine of Cups, pissed up guest going home with that Five of Pentacles coming out of the venue. And I do see a marriage for some of you guys happening, because we have the Ten of Pentacles and we've also got the Hierophant. If you look at this Ten of Pentacles, this looks like a wedding scene. Family, friends gathered round. Can you see that, guys? Family and friends all gathered round. There's two people facing one another, talking, sharing their vows. And we have the person who's conducting the ceremony, who is the Hierophant. So this is the priest that will be conducting some of your ceremony, I believe, between now and between July and December 2016. So it was a really interesting reading, and I found it quite funny when those cards popped out. So just to reiterate, the first story that I'm seeing for Scorpio, Sun, Moon and Rising signs between the months of July to December 2016 is a proposal of marriage if you are in a long-standing relationship. I'm seeing engagement parties, lots of fun, lots of happiness together. I'm seeing guests going home, drunk, pissed up to the nines, and I'm seeing the actual wedding ceremony happening here for some of you guys. Ten of Pentacles and that Hierophant. Look at those two guys there. They actually look like they're getting married. Can you see that? Family, friends, guests, and then the Hierophant that conducts the marriage. Very interesting. Now, for some of you guys who are single, what I'm seeing is that you're going to be really happy that a relationship, finally, someone's come into your life. They make a proposal to you. They say, let's go out. Let's get to know each other. I actually really like you. This might be somebody who's been around you for quite a while, potentially, or it could be somebody who comes in from the blue. But usually if I see somebody coming in from the blue, it usually represents to me almost a Knight of Wands energy. That someone just comes in really swiftly. Someone that you didn't expect. Usually Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, because it's kind of like a sudden energy about it. But the Knight of Cups tends to take his time to build up to making a declaration. So that's why sometimes I feel that it might be somebody that you know, but not necessarily. There is somebody coming up, whether you know them or not, and they're going to be making a declaration with you. Nine of Cups to me suggests there's going to be a lot of happiness, probably a lot of sexual energy going on there. So it's going to be a very sensual time for some of you guys this summer, leading up to the winter time. And I feel that if you've been out in the cold, or you've felt that you didn't have any support for quite a while, I feel that as this card shows two people who are out in the cold, it almost feels that you find a soulmate, or you find someone who you can share stuff with, and they're really, really supportive to you. I feel with the Ten of Pentacles, this is you guys getting to know each other, and potentially there's some form of spiritual commitment going on there as well. So it's not necessarily a wedding that I'm seeing here, because that would be, well, you could get married, I suppose, if it was that serious. But for a lot of people, they tend to wait, don't they? Maybe a year or two. But then weddings can happen fast. But I am seeing sort of this shared love, this real strong spiritual connection between the both of you. As if it feels to me like a soulmate relationship coming in for some of you, if you're single. If you're married, Well, it's interesting, but I do feel that your marriage is going to go from strength to strength. I really do. This Knight of Cups facing you, it might be, if you look at the Queen of Cups, she often bows her head, so she's not aware. So you might get a surprise with this Knight of Cups. Your husband or your wife might suddenly bring you in, just tell you out of the blue, I really love you. And, you know, let's do something out of the ordinary. Let's do something that we haven't done in a while. I feel that there's a lot of happiness around these relationships, okay? Especially if you're married as well. Ten of Pentacles means sharing resources. It also means building on a relationship. So I'm seeing that. And some of you guys might be looking to reignite your marriage vows. So there might be a renewal of marriage vows going on here. So it's really good. Really, really good for some of you guys coming up during the months between July and December 2016, Scorpio. The other story that I was seeing in the cards was that for some of you guys, especially if you're married and you're in a relationship. Now, remember, you know, with the tarot, don't get it twisted on general readings, okay? Never get it twisted. And never, if I say something in a general reading and, you know, you say, but how can that be? That doesn't relate to me. You know, I'm quite happily married. Well, you've just had your advice if you're really happily married. The next story is about if you are feeling a sense of, I don't know what to call it, whether it's unhappiness or whether you need something to be rejuvenated within your relationship, or whether you just are kind of bored with your partner over the next 6 months. But it could be for some of you guys, and I feel that these energies will have already started really within your relationship. I feel that some of you might need freedom because we've got the Judgment card showing up here. And when you get Judgment, it simply means, you know what, I need a new path. I need to feel revitalised. This has become too old, too staid, too dormant. It's not really moving, and I need a fresh cycle to come in. So Judgment card means rebirth, and it means renewal, and it means starting again, and it means a fresh start. But I don't feel that this will be, in terms of a fresh start in terms of the long term. I feel that this is going to be, for some of you guys, a summer romance with someone else, because we've got an Empress sitting next to the Judgment card. And I feel that this, for some of you guys, it could be somebody that you're with at the moment. It might be an older man, but it can also be older man, older woman, whatever, because it's a general reading. But the Emperor usually shows up as an authoritarian figure. When you get an Emperor, they are fully in control of their business, their home life. What they say usually goes. They're very... They can be very paternal, but sometimes that paternal instinct that an Emperor has for me can almost turn into control. So for some of you guys, you might be in a relationship that's quite controlling, that you need release from. Because the Emperor is a number 4. Now, if you look at the number 4 cards, 4 of Cups, let's have a look at the number 4. So you've got 4 of Cups and 4 of Pentacles. Both cards can represent resistance to change. Because on the 4 of Cups, you have someone who's been offered a cup, they don't want to accept the cup, they're happy with the way that things are. So they're resistant to accepting anything new. The 4 of Pentacles is someone who can be resistant to coming out of a comfort zone. So they just want to keep things the way that they are. They're comfortable with the way that things are and they don't want to change anything up. Then you have the 4 of Swords. 4 of Swords is all about healing, renewal, going inward to evaluate a situation, and hopefully coming out a better and a stronger person. So the change is in that. And the 4 of Wands, all about achievement, happiness, socialising, feeling quite secure, quite abundant, quite stable. So on the one hand, you have 2 cards, 4 of Swords, 4 of Wands, in a roundabout way. The synergy between those cards represent trying to find some form of stability. And the synergy between the 4 of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles is resistance. Now, the Emperor to me can be both. He can be resistant, but he's also someone who wants to move ahead. In terms of moving ahead, he would represent for me the 4 of Swords and the 4 of Wands, because he's looking to build security and stability, and he does that through being quite logical about situations, looking at things in a very matter-of-fact way, and not sort of attributing anything emotional to it. He's looking at the facts. He's like the King of Swords. But in another way, he's very resistant, because he can be the 4 of Cups or the 4 of Pentacles, i.e., I've got what I need, I don't need anything else, or no, I don't want that built there because it's fine as it is and what I say goes. So he can be both. So I feel that with the Emperor, you could be, for some of you guys, be looking at quite a selfish character, or someone who wants to do things his way because he needs to assume control. And I do feel that you guys need rebirth from that. Some of you guys will do between the months of July and December 2016. So I feel that in order to achieve that, it could be, and I use the other cards, even the ones that I've just looked at, to incorporate this, okay? I do feel that the Knight of Cups is a little bit of a dandy that's going to come in, and he's facing you. There is a new relationship, or there is some sort of connection you're going to be making with someone if you're in an unhappy relationship that you need rebirth. You know the saying, be careful of what you wish for. Well, this could be coming in for you because it looks like it's going to be a secret affair. We've got the Moon card showing up, and we've got it alongside the Queen of Wands. Now, the Moon is often a card of deception, so secrets. It's things that have not been unearthed. It's things that have been kept in the background. It's things that are not apparent in the daylight. So everything is done in the darkness where nobody can see. And the Queen of Wands can represent a very passionate affair that one moves into. Okay, so I do feel for some of you guys that are unhappy in a relationship, probably with a very controlling partner, new love will come in with the Knight of Cups. Somebody's going to declare something to you. You may be starting a very passionate affair with them. It will be secret, obviously. Very passionate Queen of Wands. Secret, the Moon. But I would be very careful about falling in love with this person, Scorpio, if this is your scenario between July and December 2016, because I think this person might be a little bit of a player. Okay, and that's because we have the Knight of Wands. And we've also got the Two of Wands. Now, with the Knight of Wands, he's a love him and leave him type. He's very fast to move, but he's also quicker to depart. Okay, so he's kind of like a wham bam thank you man. But I think that this will be a relationship that lasts through the summer. Okay, if I were to look at the Knight of Wands and the Two of Wands together, wow, the Two of Wands means to seek. It means vision. And the Knight of Wands means to move. Okay, it also means the word active. So if I look at those two cards together, it could be seeking activity. This could either be a fire sign male, I feel, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or it could be a water sign, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancerian. But I do feel that somebody's coming in and they're going to be they seem to come in at the right time because they're seeking activity and you're seeking a little bit of a release, possibly from a relationship that's not going very well, possibly from a relationship that you feel quite controlled by and you feel quite, this person's really kind of getting on my nerves, okay? I need a bit of outlet, and I feel that you will be very, even though we don't have a temptation card here like the Devil or the Seven of Cups, it doesn't really matter because you don't really need those cards. You just have to look at what the flow of the reading is telling you. I do feel that some of you guys will be tempted to embark on a secret, passionate affair with someone who's seeking a lot of activity. And I feel through the summer months, Nine of Cups, it could be that you have a very, very good time. There's a lot of sensual pleasures. There's a lot of drinking, if you drink, that is. Okay, there's a lot of socialising with this person, all under wraps, of course. But I do feel that by the winter time, Five of Pentacles, you'll realise that this relationship does lack any depth. And even though that Emperor shows up as someone who is a little bit boring, a little bit controlling, you'll probably think to yourself, actually, I'm better off with what I have and I don't really see this relationship going anywhere. So summertime, all good with the Nine of Cups and this secret passionate affair. But by the winter time, I think you could find that it's probably all over. The final story that I'm seeing in this reading, in terms of love coming in for you guys during the months of July through to December 2016, Scorpio, is the High Priestess to start with, and the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel that you will be very aware for some of you guys at the state of a relationship that you're in, okay? But you probably are looking to plod along with it because the High Priestess represents when you are aware of what needs to be done. And part of you, I feel, it's really funny, I just to me, I came up with this thing the other day where if I get a clarification card on this side, the white, because to me, the white bit, the white pillar, which I think, is it Joachim? It represents light, it represents clarity. But the black side of I think it's Boaz, sorry if I'm wrong, but the black pillar represents to me lack of clarity. And what the high priestess needs to do is go from darkness through to light. And to me, in a way, your clarity is saying, maybe I should work on this relationship. Okay, even though you know, deep down inside, your intuition is telling you something's wrong with your relationship between July and December 2016. Some of you might choose to stay in one and just plod along and carry on with it. And ignore what your intuition, because when I look at these two cards together as well, this guy has his back turned to the high priestess. It's almost like it's saying he's ignoring, with the Eight of Pentacles, his intuition with the high priestess. Because the Eight of Pentacles guy is completely involved in his work and he's completely focused on that. So he's completely involved in just doing the same thing over and over and over again. But he doesn't really get completion through it, because the Eight of Pentacles doesn't really, as a card, it's about going into a new workplace or being a student or learning something new. But it doesn't really, it's about focusing on a goal. But it doesn't really tell you whether you really win that goal or not, or whether you really achieve what it is that you've been working on. And as I can see, the Eight of Pentacles guy has his back firmly turned to the high priestess. To me, that would suggest that someone is turning their back on their self-awareness. And I feel that some of you guys will be questioning this, because we have the Two of Swords, and alongside that is the Five of Swords. This looks like you guys might be trying to block out a very difficult relationship. When you get the Five of Swords in a relationship reading, it's about feeling powerless. Sometimes feeling powerless and sometimes feeling powerful. But I feel that you're feeling powerless for some of you guys between July and December 2016 in terms of your love life. And I feel for some of you guys with that Two of Swords, you're going to try and block it out. And why do you block it out? Because your logic tells you, maybe I should just work on this relationship. Just keep it going. But your intuition tells you, well, actually, no, I still haven't achieved the full clarity. Even though I'm fully aware of what's going on in my relationship, I don't really know how to make any changes. Which is why we don't have a card that signifies changes or signifies release, because the High Priestess keeps secrets and she keeps everything within herself. And to me, you need a card sat down next door to the High Priestess that can signify, if I get High Priestess and Hanged Man, to me that represents something stays within, something doesn't release. There's no release in a situation. It can sometimes represent, okay, well, I'm going to look at a situation from a different point of view in terms of my own intuition and how I read these cards. But the Hanged Man, whenever I get the Hanged Man after something like the Wheel of Fortune, it suggests to me, or any of those change cards, and also especially after the High Priestess, because this is not a card about change, but it's a card about knowing something deep down within and letting your intuition guide you. Well, if I get the Hanged Man, to me the Hanged Man always means stop, okay, because it's something that's up in the air, it's where somebody's hands are tied, okay, so that card always represents that adjustments need to be made, okay, and sometimes with the High Priestess, to me, it's almost like I'm waiting until I can make adjustments, so there's no full release there. And so if I've got an Eight of Pentacles here, to me it suggests a certain type of ignorance with this card, because this person says, I'm working at something really hard, even though I'm continuously recreating the same patterns, I'm going to ignore what my self-awareness tells me. And I feel that that's because, yes, the Two of Swords says, I'm blocking out. Now, the self-awareness within the Two of Swords, guys, is the water. That's the intuition showing right up there. It's the emotion that this person is blocking out. They're denying something to themselves. And what are they denying? Well, they're denying this person on the Five of Swords. This person is a very much, I feel, between July and December, someone who's causing you a lot of anguish. And I don't feel that it's going to abate. I feel that you're just trying to ignore it, because you want to just work on your relationship and ignore what your intuition tells you. However, I do feel that between July and December, you get to a point, Scorpio, for any of you guys that relate to this section of the reading. I feel for some of you guys, you'll have worked and worked and worked on a relationship. It doesn't get any better, it seems, because we've got the Five of Swords. So sometimes to me, when I look at the Eight of Pentacles, it can represent passivity, because somebody's not really taking forward action. They are working and they're focusing on something, but it can almost represent, when I look at the picture especially, someone who's just doing something time and time again. They're so focused on getting an outcome, but sometimes this card means that there is no outcome and that you're just doing something tirelessly and in vain. And therefore it gives this person more leverage to do what they want. Hence you are trying to block them out, because you're just focusing on trying to get through this relationship and make it better. This person doesn't recognise that though, they carry on. Therefore you have no option but just to ignore your intuition and just carry on for some reason, because you're ignoring your intuition and your what your gut feeling is telling you with the High Priestess. However, I do feel for some of you guys that you work tirelessly. This person carries on doing what they are doing, and it gets to the point where you say, you know what, I've had enough, because we have a Ten of Swords here. And when the Ten of Swords shows, it means I've had enough. This relationship is broken, it's dead, I can't do any more, it's the end. So I do feel that some of you guys will truly acknowledge an ending to a relationship in the month of July, in the months between July and December 2016. But it's interesting because we have two men showing up. Two men, two women, whatever it is. Okay, we've got two people showing up who are going to kind of soothe you or try to soothe you, because we've got a Knight of Pentacles facing you on that Ten of Swords. But we also have, can you see that? How two men are facing you. One wants to offer you the world, but be careful of that card, I feel. And one is very devoted to you. One will be very devoted. This could be somebody that you've had around you for a long time. You might be going through, even now, a difficult relationship. I feel within the 6 months, if it's a really difficult relationship and your intuition is telling you this is completely over, I do feel that it will be over within the next 6 months, okay? But I do see a couple of men coming in. One is very devoted. One is very faithful. Knight of Pentacles faces you. When you get a Knight of Pentacles in a love reading, this is a very, very faithful, devoted, honest, loyal companion. So I feel that there's going to be somebody really loyal who will be there for you. This Two of Wands guy, well, he offers the world, but you've got to always be aware with the Two of Wands that this person is also indecisive, okay? They want to go out and explore. So this person wants to explore who you are, but also they might have a couple of other options. Two of Wands, okay? Which means I've got a couple of other avenues that I can take as well. So I don't feel that this Wands guy, and it could be again an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius individual, I don't feel this person would be in it for the long haul. They might want to offer you something, but I'm looking at the distance between the cards as well, and the guy in the Two of Wands seems a bit further away than that Knight of Pentacles. He seems more instantaneous, more instant, more, you know, more there. So that's interesting for your love reading over the next 6 months, Scorpio. We'll just recapture what we've said. If you're single, love is coming in, I believe, between July and December 2016, okay? And I believe sometimes the Knight of Cups worries me as a card, because he can be a little bit wishy-washy. He can be in love with the idea of being in love. He might not always stick around. He has the best of intentions, but he just kind of gets really kind of enamored by something new, something lovely that he finds to his liking. But it doesn't mean that the Knight of Cups always sticks around. He can be a bit of a loose cannon, to be honest with you. But I feel that this person does stick around because he's very intent on offering you love, okay? Could be a water sign, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancerian, but doesn't have to be. Knights, remember, usually represent actions, okay, within the tarot. They are the bringers and the enders of change, if that makes any sense. So they bring change, but they will also enter situation, okay? So, for example, the Knight of Wands can be a card that represents leaving a situation, and the Knight of Cups can represent something that is being brought to you, okay? Knight of Swords can mean something quite sudden is happening, and the Knight of Pentacles means that it's going to happen, but it might take time. So the Knight of Cups faces the Queen of Cups. He's facing you. Very interesting cards together. So this is a declaration of love for those of you who have been unattached for quite a while. And I feel that you would have been unattached for quite a while, and some of you may not have believed in love. And that's because we've got the Five of Pentacles here. And it shows someone along with another individual, and they're together. They've got each other for support. So I feel that this will be a very supportive relationship where you haven't been probably with anyone for quite some time. And I feel it's going to make you feel very happy because we've got the Nine of Cups. So you're going to be feeling very smug, very satisfied with what you have. And I do feel that this Five of Pentacles suggests a lot of support there going on. Ten of Pentacles, I believe that you're going to start building on something. It's not an immediate thing, it's over time. Okay, so even if, you know, you don't meet anyone until, I don't know, November, these energies, I believe, will just last right through, because it does show that something is building here. And the Hierophant to me represents, in terms of a relationship, especially one that you've just met, someone that you've just met, can for me represent a very deep spiritual connection, almost something that has been ordered or brought in by the universe or God. So I am seeing a very wonderful relationship for you single Scorpios. For you guys who are attached but not married, in relationships with someone you've been waiting for a proposal, I do believe that proposal comes in maybe quite early in July or something, because we've also got an engagement party happening here. Nine of Cups represents parties, social gatherings, and I think that these are your guests going home pissed and drunk. And I do see a marriage definitely taking place for some of you guys between July and December 2016, because we have the Ten of Pentacles. This, I believe, is the marriage ceremony. You have your guests, your friends, your family all sat round. And this is the person that will actually take care of the wedding ceremony. It's the Hierophant, it's the priest, who is basically giving you your wedding vows. So there are weddings, there are engagement parties, there are new proposals of love coming in for some of you Scorpios. For some of you Scorpios who might be married, but your marriage is probably with a very controlling, quite selfish individual, I do feel that you're going to need, but you've got security there, because the Emperor represents security. All right, so this will probably be someone who can provide you with all the security and stability you need in terms of money, home life, that type of thing. I do feel that there is a sense of boredom, because this person tends to get everything his own way, and you feel probably a little bit trapped, even though we don't have an Eight of Swords or anything like that. We don't really need one, because why do we have Judgment after? Well, Judgment represents I need to start afresh, or I need something that wakes me up from this very boring state. Because remember, these people were dead, and now they're alive, they're awoken, and they're saying, praise be to God, they've been called. There's an awakening. I feel for some of you guys there will be an awakening, okay, from this very kind of boring, staid energy of the Emperor. And I feel that that will come in with a proposal that is made to you from someone that likes you, Knight of Cups. I think it might be a secret affair for some of you, because we've got the Moon card here, which can represent secrets, deceptive situations, situations that are done in the dark rather than the daylight. We have the Queen of Wands sat right next to that Moon, which for me represents a very passionate relationship in terms of love. So I think it will be a passionate, secret relationship, because you have been offered love via the Knight of Cups to the Queen of Cups. But be very careful with this person, because he is a thrill seeker. Knight of Wands, activity. Two of Wands, seeking activity. I feel that this person is on the hunt for a relationship, or for some sex or something like that. There's a lot of passion, it would seem, during the summertime, but I do believe by the winter it will all be over, because you'll recognise that you don't really have a common foundation with this person. Could be that you go back to the Emperor and there is a renewal of wedding vows or something like that, Ten of Pentacles and that Hierophant. Finally, for some of you guys, you have a decision to make, because I feel that for some of you guys between July and December, or even going on from now, you're letting somebody get the upper hand, but you're just staying in the relationship, because we have the High Priestess. This can mean a lack of activity, being passive to a situation. It can also mean that you are fully aware of a situation, but you seem to turn your back on it with the Eight of Pentacles and carry on recreating the same patterns within your relationship. You are conflicted, because we've got the Two of Wands here. You are trying to put your barriers up to this individual. You're ignoring your intuition and what you really need to do, because you've put your... Can you see how he faces this girl on the Two of Wands? This is someone who's taking the piss, this Five of Swords guy. He's a fighter, and he seems to want to get at you, but you're ignoring it, because you're looking to just try and focus on making the relationship better, whilst ignoring what your intuition is truly telling you. And if you look at these two cards together, three cards, sorry, we have the High Priestess above, alongside the Eight of Pentacles. If you look at those three cards, look at where the swords are pointing. One sword points to the Eight of Pentacles, and one sword points to the High Priestess. When you get those cards, for me, Two of Swords can mean I'm in two minds, because the swords represent ideas and thoughts, and she's got them pointing in different directions. For some of you guys, you might be in two minds. Do I go with what my intuition tells me, or do I keep plodding along? Because I'm having to drown out the noise of this individual who's potentially making me feel uncomfortable, or making me not feel very good about my life, or they're really kind of playing mind games and bringing me down. However, in the end, I believe that you decide it's over. Ten of Swords. It's over. The end. At that point, I do believe a couple of guys might express interest in you, one being the Knight of Pentacles and the other being the Two of Wands guy. One could be an earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. One could be an fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I personally would look at the, if this happens for you guys, I would personally look at the Knight of Pentacles. He's far more devoted, he's far more honest. The Two of Wands guys has the best intentions, but he's probably got a couple more options, or he's not quite sure, because when you get a number 2, it can mean that I've reached an impasse, or I've reached a point where I need to make a decision. He wants to offer the world, but he has other interests elsewhere as well. So that is your reading for love reading, Scorpio, for the month between July and December 2016. I'd like to say thank you very much for joining me on Carol's Universe, and I will see you next on your life spread reading and also your July 2016 general reading. Take care.